Okay, so we've been talking a little bit about our experience in going to Washington, D.C. and going to see His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who worked so very hard on our behalf, teaching and giving these Kala Chakra ritual initiation. And the thing I appreciate, I think, the most from this experience is actually the opportunity to take precepts from His Holiness. And I was thinking about my relationship with precepts. I think it's the thing that drew me into Buddhism. In fact, it is. I remember reading the precepts of a lay practitioner and taking refuge in my living room informally. I don't think I was taking refuge, actually. I wasn't taking refuge so much in the Buddha. And I just thought, these make sense. These precepts make sense. And I appreciate that, I appreciate the way that we're being taught what our relationship is with the precepts, thinking of them more like guidelines. It's really not the way I was raised. Both in the school system and the religion I was raised in, things were more like laws. And in our country, laws, you either follow them or you don't follow them. There's like kind of fairly black and white. But our precepts are more thought of as like guidelines, things that you're trying to do. Venerable always says, if you could follow these precepts, you wouldn't need them. So it implies the idea that we're training, and that we're trying to train our mind. And this made me think of this thing that Gandhi said about, so we hold these ideals to behave in certain ways with our body, with our speech, and with our mind. And of course the body is the easiest and the mind is the hardest of those. Very difficult to control, the wild elephant of the mind. But still we have these ideals, and so this ideal of being a bodhisattva and taking on precepts that a bodhisattva would try to do to train the mind. And so Gandhi says, an ideal is one thing, living up to it is quite another. We may be said to have an ideal only when we put forth effort to realize it. And so even Gandhi had the clear idea that our ideals are beyond our reach at this time, and that we're, training ourselves to become more than we are right now. And so I think that's what I appreciate most about going to Washington, D.C. is the opportunity to take precepts and take them with His Holiness, who exemplifies the result of following, these kind of guidelines for living and having ideals that are beyond our reach, but something that we can attain at some point, and just then knowing that, being willing to make the effort to slowly train our minds, do what it takes to be able to live up to our ideals. So.